So I found an amazing record store one day as I was walking down Sydney Road, and I really wanted to buy some new fucking CDs and even blind buys in here. And this album I'm going to talk to you about, I blind bought. It's none other than Mar Mortuum, Nihilistic Advance. This album is truly something, and I really wanted to share this album from my collection to you guys. If you haven't heard this is a really fantastic release. So welcome to a deep dive into Mar Mortuum's debut album, Nihilistic Advance. This record is black metal. It's a fucking black metal onslaught hailing from my neck of the woods, Melbourne, Australia, originally released in December 12, 2014. Now, it's a potent mix of ferocity and atmosphere with just a few rough edges. So strap in for a journey to chaos and darkness. Mar Mortuum certainly lives up to the mission to create fucking chaos. Let's break it down track by track. This is a blind buy, and I'm so happy that I got this. Alright, let's talk about the opening track, Viral Heaving Death. And yeah, it absolutely erupts from the very first second. You're hit with chaotic war of blast beats and roaring vocals that feel like you're getting fucking body slammed by a tank. It's pure sonic warfare. The drums and vocals almost drown everything out at first, but underneath the guitars and bass are churning like machinery, building this thick, oppressive soundscape. The production is raw and a bit muddy, especially in the drum fills, but honestly, that only adds to its charm. It feels wild and unrestrained. Now, once you get past that, initial storm, Mar Mortuum start weaving in some seriously killer riffs. Midway through, the track opens up with hooks that slice through the chaos, and the vocalist M's, his vocals really stand out. Gritty, sharp, and pitched, somewhere between like a growl and a blackened shriek. It's vicious, but there's character there. Then towards the end of this 7-minute piece, things start to evolve. The riffs shift, solos kick in, and the vocals become almost manic and epic, giving the song this sense of really grandiose scale. It's not just brutality, it's calculated devastation with real vision. As an opener, Viral Heaving Death sets the tone perfectly. It's ferocious, unpredictable, and a clear signal that this album isn't just mindless aggression, it's a statement. And by the time it ends, you're not just ready for more, you're hooked. Track 2, Of the Black Sky We Drink. Wow, it takes a slight turn from the opener's sheer chaos and dips into something a bit more brooding and ritualistic. It opens with swirling ominous riffs like gazing in a stormy void, and while the tempo stays intense, there's a real melodic undercurrent that gives this track extra weight. The main riff is strangely hypnotic, like a dark ritual chant, and the drums, while still pummeling, give the guitars room to breathe and cast their spell. What's great here is how Mar Mortuum balances atmosphere with aggression, the vocals shift in like even tortured-like state, almost howling fucking screams, and in the chaos, you can catch these like dissonant melodies straighting through the riffs. There's even a moment mid-track where the band locks into a seriously catchy head-banging groove, almost like a thrashy break that injects some old school flavor without losing the blackened edge. By the end, it all erupts into like a manic climax with everything coming together like a dark spell being sealed. It's still violent, but there's this eerie ritualistic energy that sets it apart. As a follow-up to the opener, it shows the band's range, not just speed and brutality, but mood and craft. It keeps the album's bleak momentum burning strong and makes it clear this record's just getting started. Track 3 is Fire of Ascension. Absolutely lives up to its name. This one erupts right out of the gate with blazing tremolo riffs and machine gun double kicks. After the slightly more atmospheric vibe of the last track, this feels like getting torched by like a blackened metal, like a black metal assault. There's sharp, almost old school edge to the riffing, And the drumming from As Autumn is razor sharp, locking in tight with the guitars and blasting relentlessly. About halfway through, things take a darker turn. The band shifts the tempo into a more stomping groove, slower, heavier, and full weight. It's like we're watching the actual ascension unfold, but not the kind you'd want to be a part of. The guitars start to chug, the vocals get nastier, and the whole track just oozes menace. There's even a short screaming lead guitar part near the end that cuts through like a molten blade. Quick but effective. Overall, 5 Ascension is a scorcher. At only 5 minutes, it never overstays its fucking welcome. Keep things interesting with dynamic shifts and delivers one of the most high energy punches on the album. It's chaotic, tight, and gives you that feeling of being caught in a storm of flames, and it leaves you burned in the best way possible. Now we hit to the album's title track and Nihilistic Advance. Really does feel like the fucking centerpiece of this whole record. It kicks in hard, no build up, no warning, just a barrage of riffs and blast beats that march forward like a blackened war machine. The guitars carry this menacing tremolo melody that repeats like some cursed chant, while the rhythm section locks into this pounding militaristic groove that makes you feel like you're being dragged into the void. There's a sense of relentless forward motion, the kind that doesn't stop for anything or anyone. Vocally, M sounds completely fucking unhinged on this one, a perfect fit. His snails are packed with venom and despair, really leaning into the nihilistic tone of the track. And what makes this song so effective is how it ebbs and flows. It's not just a non-stop assault. Midway through, the tempo drops a little, the riffs turn eerie and dissonant, almost doom-like, giving the whole thing this moment of bleak introspection. But just when you think it's letting up, the violence fucking returns faster, tighter, and even more unrelenting. By the time it ends, Nihilistic Advance leaves you feeling like you just crawled out of a war-torn wasteland. It's heavy, layered, and full of purpose. Easily one of the most complete thematic tracks on the album, a true anchor point, and a hell of a title track. Then we go to track 6, The Offering. It's a 2-minute instrumental basically that feels like a ritual in a shadowy temple. It dials back the distortion and chaos, swapping in eerie clean tones and ambient layers that create a haunting, unsettling atmosphere. There's a slow, almost ceremonial pulse running through it, and midway through, a faint, mournful guitar line rises like a ghostly chant. Even without vocals or blast beats, the band nails the mood. It's a perfect placed breather, you could say, a moment of eerie calm that deepens the album's atmosphere before we're thrown back into the fucking carnage. Short but powerful. Track 7 is For Worship, wastes no time. Right after the eerie instrumental break, this one explodes with furious riffs and rapid fire drumming, instantly snapping the album back into full-blown chaos. If The Offering was a dark ritual, this is the blood-soaked sacrifice that follows. At just over 4 minutes, it's one of the shorter tracks, but it crams in chunky, headbanging fucking riffs, tight double bass grooves, and a relentless pace that recharges the album's momentum. M's vocals on this one are especially savage. It feels like he's conducting some twisted ceremony at times when he roars, "For worship!" It has this anthemic, blasphemous energy, like a congregation of demons screaming it back. Structurally, it's more straightforward than some of the earlier tracks, but that actually works in its fucking favor. After the atmospheric breather, this is a no-frills, back-to-basics banger that hits hard and fast, really channeling that Norwegian black metal sound. There's a brief moment where the song drops into a more ominous groove, just enough to let you breathe. Then it lunges back with one final tremolo blast of the soul. By the end, you're left energized and wrecked, ready for the final stretch of the album. It's tight, focused, and absolutely vicious. One of the album's pure adrenaline shots. Give me some adrenaline, baby. Ah! Ritual Abandon is one of the album's creepiest and most atmospheric moments, and it hits differently. Right away, the bass guitar takes the spotlight, slithering in with this thick, grimy groove that sounds like something crawling out of a fucking dead hole or something. It's rare in extreme metal to hear the bass so clearly and so menacingly, and it sets the tone perfectly. Once the guitars come in, they don't overpower, they complement that bass with like dissonant droning riff, almost like a horror film. The tempo slows to a stalking crawl, not doom metal slow, but definitely a shift from the chaos earlier in the record. The drums sit back a bit, letting the haunting vibe take center stage, and M's vocals become even more twisted, part snarl, part ritualistic. It's genuinely spine-tingling. Midway through, everything pulls back and we get this moody, isolated bass solo. It's dark, it's eerie, and it totally steals the show. When the guitars return, they layer a chilling melody over that groove, creating this unsettling climax. Ritual Abandon feels like a descent into madness, a dark ceremony unfolding in slow motion. It's a perfect late album twist, creepy, textured, and a brilliant showcase of the band's atmospheric side. Then we go to Temple of Mutilation, is where Mar Mortuum go full savage again, and they don't hold back for a fucking second. After the slow, creepy vibe of the last track, this one hits like a sledgehammer to the chest. Oh! Vicious riffs, relentless blast beats, and thundering double kicks come crashing down, instantly setting a pace that's both chaotic and tight. The transitions are razor sharp on this. 1 second you're in a whirlwind of tremolo picking, the next the band locks into this heavy headbanging groove that you just can't fucking resist. And then you got M's vocals are absolutely feral here as well, growling and shrieking like a man fucking possessed, really leaning into that mutilation theme. It sounds like he's conducting a massacre in real time. There's a killer moment in the second half where everything slows just a touch, almost like a beast is taking a breath, and then kaboom, we're hit with a screaming guitar lead and a vocal outburst that feels completely unhinged. It's brutal, but surprisingly well crafted. That short melodic solo adds the perfect bit of flair amid the carnage. By the end, the band just unleashes everything. Blast beats, tortured screams, and riffs that sound like they're hacking through flesh. Temple Mutilation is pure climactic destruction, and it leaves you stunned and gasping perfectly, setting up to the final track. And here we are, the final chapter, Final Breath. Originally from the demo, it's now the reimagined as the closing track of Nihilistic Advance, and it feels absolutely fitting. After the chaos of Temple Mutilation, this one opens with a grim, determined riff, part mournful, part menacing like a blackened funeral march. The pace slows to a heavy, deliberate crawl, with pounding drums and tremolo melodies that carry this subtle but haunting farewell vibe. There's a real sense of it is the final track. M's vocals sound desperate, like he's exhaling one last scream of rage and sorrow before it all ends. Around the halfway mark, the whole band surges together, guitars, bass, fucking drums, building up to the climactic peak. You might catch a bit of a melodic guitar soaring throughout the chaos, almost sorrowful, giving the track emotional weight beneath the brutality. As we reach the last minute, the band throws down one final set of crushing riffs, no fade out, just a last violent gasp, then silence. And that silence feels earned. Final Breath doesn't just close the album, it seals it. A bleak, powerful end to a journey through nihilism, and one that leaves you wrecked but fully satisfied. So to wrap it all up, Nihilistic Advance is one hell of a fucking ride. Mar Mortuum delivers a debut that's brutal, bleak, and fully committed to the blackened vision they set out to create. Each track drags you deeper into the world of chaos and darkness, but it's not just relentless aggression. They mix in just enough atmosphere and dynamic shifts to keep things engaging from start to finish. And this is their only album they've ever done. You've got standout assaults like Viral Heaving Death and Temple Mutilation, balanced with more moody, unsettling pieces like Ritual Abandon and a surprisingly eerie instrumental, The Offering. The album flows with like real fucking intention, and while the production can be a bit muddy at times and a few tracks might blur together for like casual listeners, the heart, passion, and vision behind this thing is undeniable. At the end of the day, Nihilistic Advance hits that sweet fucking spot. Raw but thoughtful, savage yet atmospheric. It's a confident, cohesive debut that fans of black metal will absolutely appreciate. I'm giving Mar Mortuum Nihilistic Advance a 85%. Definitely check it out, but prepare to be dragged into the abyss. So, this is what the band looks like. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, that's M right there. He's covered in blood. But yeah, I mean, I'm so glad I got this. So let me know in the comments below if you've ever heard this album. Let me know if you're gonna check it out. Do you agree, disagree with my opinion? It's been fun, and I'll see you in the next one.